in spots you don't expect him to be. Thatcher off the board as our second ban here is, yeah, that might be bog standard. If the only thing here that changes is the fact that Nomad is banned out as opposed to a Ying, that is just a map adjustment, and it really comes down to how you utilize a Ying on Chalet. We've actually seen TSM, believe it or not, in the NAL do that pretty effectively, but is that going to be the same case here if they decide to play it?
It potentially could. In the defensive bans, they're probably going to be the exact same thing we always see.
Mira,
we
Valk,
already see Mira down, and
yep.
Valk will also bite the bullet. Both those operators are insanely strong on Chalet. It allows you to just completely revolutionize certain power positions. And with the Mira, as well as Valkyrie, your roams become instantly buffed like 2.5 times. They're so much stronger because you can act on that intel. You know exactly where the attack is pushing from, and you have the element of surprise.
Parabellum starting on attack with 4 Chalet usually is a good thing. At the very least, it's probably not the world's greatest split. It's probably like 55 to 45 in favor of the attack so far, but that still is a more significant number than most people might think. Oh, it's only a 5% difference. It still means that a majority of people are winning attacking rounds, so for PB, they should come into this at least slightly advantaged, if only for the first 6 rounds. So however much of a difference they can open between themselves in one shot, hopefully it means that one shot can then get put on the back foot when they switch to attack, because again, in spite of them winning Chalet against TSM yesterday, attacking deficiencies are still a thing we've noticed from them across the board. PB went 3-3 with them on Cafe just 2 maps prior, which was enough of a buffer zone for them to eventually win that one, and if the same thing happens here, hopefully that means they win this map.
Yeah, and for Parabellum, they were still just as strong in their attacks against Mirage yesterday, which is what you expect to see. You expect to see, hey, it's Chalet attacks.
Okay.
You win them. But for one shot, that was a completely different story. And hopefully, for their sake, their defenses can stand the test of time of Parabellum's attacks. And maybe it was just TSM's attacks were a little bit weak. Potentially?
Honestly, I think they were weaker than what we've grown to expect from TSM. I think that's one shot capitalizing, or they did, for what they managed to do in that series. They did understand that TSM on attack was somewhat deficient by the standard that they set in the NAL.
Yeah, and we have a drone watching the run out, which, you know, if you were watching yesterday, you saw Tommy Boy go on the Oryx straight out the garage door, and Parabellum were ready for it, and they're ready for it once again, as Kool-Aid's going to drone out the Mute of Storms, playing aggressive in that corner. He actually backed off and managed to escape, so that nade will be fully wasted, as this top floor extension is still standing strong all the way back to the Ivy hallway. This entire solar take from Parabellum is something that we've seen out of them many a times, and it's going to be the long angles that the defenders are holding to maybe stop them, as Swaylin might go for this run out late. The cam might not be watched anymore, but there are still players over towards the northern solar rappel that could be punished.
These 2 players from Parabellum might want to take something through Trench, or at least get their avenue of approach into the site secured from below and start working their way up. Bomb site is not in basement in this point, so it will be a little bit of an interesting avenue back through if they decide to take advantage of it. Quartz notices one storming back down Solar. He ends up taking way more damage himself, and Kool-Aid will open up the kills on map number 3 against the Thunderbird. One more down with him is Eska. Adrenaline Surge will come through, but they opt not to make the push immediately, as Spirits is still down here, estimating somebody might come for a late flank. Kilo upstairs is just waiting. He's got both Goyo shields, so plenty of protection to stall out for time up top. He can rotate to site at a moment's notice as well, but ooh, bit of a disconnect here. Storm's still on this late flank. He could come up West Main and surprise Spirits.
Or he could go for the Nitro if the plant spot was to be over towards the kitchen table, but it's not. It's a solar take. They're pushing into kitchen. Kool-Aid's going to the bomb chassis, and Spirit's going to drop down Storms before Penguin falls at the hands of Kilo. Spirits, he's still pressing the button. Quite literally, in comes the Adrenal Surge, as he's going to take a lot of Toxic Babe damage, but Kilo takes it all from Eska. The map control, everything, sight, top floor, all in the favor of Parabellum, and their guns go hot and take out the remaining players. A beautiful attack coming out of Parabellum as they set the tempo strong and take the lead early.
I was worried about that Storm's flank. I really was, because I thought, oh, the instant Spirits looks away, siege timing, someone's about to come right back through the door, up west main, shoot him in the back. He scouts it out. Regardless of whether he knew to expect it again or he was using it as bait, Storms came up the stairs and was met in the face with that LMG that ended up also securing the kill on the smoke that was way back, like, off-site at that point. He was trying to just use Toxic Babes for a retake because he knew nobody was like top blue or library stairs or coming from fireplace at all. So he could sit in that corner and hope that if someone planted close to kitchen table, he'd be able to stop it with the smoke canisters. Instead, he just gets met with a bullet to the chest from an LMG.
Yeah, and those LMGs, especially Finkas, they hit hard. That one hits especially hard as a lot of
Remember
destructive.
back when we thought that was a meme gun? It was like, oh, Fuse has got it, no one's going to use it, he's got the AK Trust.
Well, I love that. I love
damn
that
good
LMG.
weapon.
It is indeed, especially in the hands of Spirit, who, if you have the headshot and you get that first bullet, it doesn't matter if the LMG shoots kind of slow. It doesn't matter indeed. It'll still put people in the grave regardless. But as one-shot stand, their defenses aren't as off to a hot of a start as they were against TSM, but they still have time to recover. A different bomb site will be to defend it this time, over towards Bar Gaming as opposed to Kitchen, the opposite side of the first floor, but still a similar necessity to defend the second floor will be paramount to one-shot success.
Again, as many rounds on defense as One Shot can put together is definitely going to help them when they shift over to the preferred side, but it's mostly just One Shot's attacking inconsistencies that creates concern. If they manage, I don't know, let's say like a 4-2 half on defense, that would be phenomenal before making the switch over, but they need everything that they can scrape together. Parabellum winning any rounds total. When we understand what we do about how One Shot have just performed this weekend, especially on this map, is just an advantage they can't allow Parabellum to obtain, especially this early. So even though it's only one round in, I'll still say every single one counts.
Yeah, the library direct take is what Parabellum like to go for this attack, and hopefully they will be able to get one of those, just a couple attacks like you were mentioning. But as everything stands, it's just kind of stall heavy. Except the util is going down on One Shot's side. The shield over towards top mezzanine, it'll get eliminated. All these angles opened up. If mezzanine is in top of the stairs is vacated, all of a sudden go into their favor. But Swaylin, he's built different. He's going to swing out. There's so many nades going his direction, but he's surviving. You could almost say he's thriving, as he might peek out over towards Spirits, but instead he's going to stay a little bit more patient. The more time he kills, the better his round has become, and he's getting droned out and waiting for the audio cue of another player jumping in before he strikes.
Swaylin is not going to let anyone even close to him, aside from a headshot from Spirits, as he finally makes the push. He just gets tickled with nade after nade over and over again, but the differentiator will be Kilo upstairs stalling Penguin's attack. It almost seems like, for a moment, they have enough stall power up at top library, but it's going to come down to how quickly an equalizer happens, and it's still Spirits, still pressing mouse one, still top mezzanine, taking down one about to come up from fireplace stairs. In a couple seconds here, it might make or break the round, depending on this positioning, how much more map control Parabellum decides to take in library.
Yeah, they still have drone intel, and they have general ideas that players might go back down towards the bomb site, but I don't know if they know that Jaeger of Slippery is still in the Ivy corner, and no, they don't. He's going to strike onto Spirits. The refrag is strong from Eska, but even more so from Storms, leaving just melted with about 5 HP left alive against so much crossfire. Quartz, he's just waiting for this hatch drop to occur. Storms, he's made his way back in to co-check, but the foot of Quartz can be seen. He's barely going to survive with a couple of toes left, 50% HP, but only 20 seconds left for poor Melted to get into the bomb site and try to make a miracle happen.
Give it his all. He's going to be moving into a couple crossfires indeed. The one just from behind the head or the head holes opened inside Game's wall will be enough to put him in the dirt. So there's another round going to One Shot. If it's not this back and forth, again, I still don't know how much of a chance One Shot's got. I'm just trying to think long term, you know, once side swaps, however long this match is going to end up going. I'm assuming, like the other two, we'll probably need something close to 12, if not overtime, to settle this one, mostly because the last two games wasn't necessarily a landslide after the first half, aside from game 2. Game 1, 3-3, but both teams won 3 rounds consecutively. There wasn't really like a pace setter in the midst of that. Then the pace got set by one shot on the second map when they went up 5-1. If this one keeps going back and forth like this, neither team really taking a whole bunch of momentum into said second half, that should have an impact on how, in fact, this game finishes.
Yes, and I already like what I'm seeing from one shot on their defenses. They're standing strong in the positions that they want to hold. Even though there was only about 40 seconds left on the clock, did they run back to site? No, they didn't. They wanted to stand strong inside of Ivy, and it really caught Parabellum off guard. Sure, trades went here and there, and going 1-for-1 was slippery, hiding in a corner as the Jaeger, but then Storms ran back up the staircase and seemingly caught Parabellum off guard once again. 2 surprises for the price of 1, and that can just kill a round right there. Absolutely kill it. And even though it was all even on the man count right there, trade happens, and everybody gets away on the one-shot side, there was no time to recover, and Melted had taken so much damage in the first initial gunfights.
Up to top floor we go for the first time in this match. It was not a site that we saw One Shot or TSM play very often when they played on Chalet yesterday, so however teams want to take this or defend this is something we still don't have too much insight on. One Shot has instead decided top mezzanine, top fireplace is what they will hold on to within an inch of their life, as Kilo is up here with head holes, 1 reinforcement, no additional shield coverage. So if someone were to get on the balcony and try to cross him, wow, speak of the devil and he shall appear. Spirits puts him away. So no more cross angle being held from the mezzanine, and that should mean Parabellum can just take Library already about 45 seconds in.
Yep, Spirits has been holding down that ego balcony insanely well, just constantly cutting rotations and applying pressure.
Oh!
Wow, Kool-Aid, you can't get away with that. Down goes Slippery through the vault animation as Kool-Aid pulls a 90-degree flick out of his butt, slaps down the second defender in a row for one shot, and that early round has been phenomenal for Parabellum. They have so much map control, they're already knocking on the door of sight, and they have such a good man advantage before Spirits gets a one-tapped by a pistol.
Storm, Swalen, everyone around by Piano. Oh yeah, Quartz with Piano control. It's still a lot of stuff to deal with. The Parabellum are in a really good position to keep on hammering stuff home. Penguin made the swap over to Zoph. This is something that usually when we see Penguin playing in an entry or a fragging capacity, it means that he can IGL from the thick of things, and he's about to give it as good a shot as he can from down below, working on clearing some of this jammer utility. With Kool-Aid still up, it means they can open up office wall or bedroom wall whenever they feel like it, but it does require the mute coming off. One jammer does, so now all of the walls should be open. I'm pretty sure that's the only one that's really in that spot, so perhaps a half wall plant upstairs is in the cards, but Quartz is still about to make things as difficult as possible. Melted on a flank, will get shut down, can't use Flores for additional utility clear here, and PB need to be pretty cautious with how they take this.
Yeah, and the biggest thing would be that a Nitro Cell's gonna rip out towards Penguin. The man advantage, it's gone. The piano shield for Quartz, it's still there, but he isn't. The angle opened up from Kool-Aid, it's gonna work into his favor, and if you notice, Swalen has the shotgun. He doesn't have range on his Ella, and neither does Storms. As the pistol's going to come out, he can't find the angle. The feet are spotted out, and Eska's going to cut him down. The SMG-11, those bullets aren't landing through the breach. It Storms in a 1v2, and the nades being cooked, and followed by a flash. Cooked to perfection as Eska serving up the Michelin star dish in a round for Parabellum once again.
Eska nades back on the menu, something we've not said for quite some time, but it is timing is indeed impeccable. Over the top lip of the couch, Kool-Aid with 2 impact frags that ensure PB don't remain dead in the water. That's the kind of thing he was doing yesterday against Mirage, the guy who's tasked with not only opening a wall, not only planting the diffuser, but creating space. And he does that just enough to give Eska time to cover him, swing back around, find 2 kills close to Piano. Even though there's a shield there, you don't have to worry about clearing it if you just have to kill the players hiding behind it. That's exactly how Parabellum progress and get their second round of this map.
Yeah, of course was able to stay alive and didn't get a little bit too aggro. Held strong in a corner as opposed to peeking. He probably wins that round single-handedly. The jump out onto poor Melted. Ooh.
Man. Someone EMP'd the Observer again. in the midst of said rehost. The game, in fact, continued off-stream for one round, so instead of it being Parabellum 2-1 up over One Shot, it is instead Parabellum 3-1, winning on a kitchen attack, and apparently the action was hot and heavy. We just didn't get the chance to observe it, but now we've given a slight pause in the action while we get everybody back into this lobby, and it might have been the pause that One Shot required. Parabellum seemingly on a little bit of a momentum streak prior to all of us needing the rehost.
Yep, and thankfully for One Shot's side, this bomb site that they are defending, Bar Gaming, guess what is so special about it?
What's so special about it, Connor?
It would indeed be the only bomb site that One Shot has successfully defended.
All right, so they need this more than anything.
They
right
do
now.
indeed. Swaylin went crazy in the top mezzanine. Parabellum struggled to clear him even with all of their utility. And then more trades went out over towards the library. Ivy Hall. Slippery popped off huge indeed. And we're seeing a very similar setup. Quartz once again on the frost. He's going to be down below with Kilo tossing a bulletproof camera and a bunch of Aruni gates to try to sponge up all that utility that Parabellum are going to send the way of mezzanine.
You know, the one thing I hate about rehosts the most, it's not that the stats reset, it's that sometimes player positions aren't the same anymore.
Yep.
So it's just like, hey, I know Penguin's going to probably be, or Spirits, in like bottom right. No, it's Kool-Aid. It's the wrong guy.
Hey,
I'm looking for the wrong players in the wrong
Hey,
positions.
I think we
over
really
for-
need to stay on Kool-Aid. He's about to go crazy this round. That's
Honestly,
that's
yeah,
a bold prediction here.
Can we get like just an entire round focusing on just nothing but Jameson, please? I think people would appreciate that.
They definitely would.
Taking over.
But as things stand, Library Direct take once again for Parabellum. Covering off the runoffs, Melted rotating to the big window, probably going to shoot it out just a little bit to feint some pressure over towards that northeastern side of the map and keep those roamers allocated towards the bedroom honest, for sure. As Penguin has this cheeky angle already opened up by the defenders, if anybody's to rotate through the rotate hole, he might be able to cut him down.
Does he
but
have
instead
it all the way
Quartz-
to the door from there?
I believe he has it like all the way to like the middle of the wall. It's right next
pretty
to the
good.
rotate hole. A pretty good angle indeed. I think if he went upside down, he might even be able to make it deeper.
Yeah, I don't really know if he wants to chance it, though, because there is also the chance somebody could be watching it, because the idea is if someone hits a frost map, you want to capitalize on it, which is why that hole exists in the first place. One Shot have dedicated a little bit of site setup to upstairs. Swaylin was holding this position down with his life in the last round, but yet again, we see Spirits on the balcony, which is where he got stopped last time, and where Kilo was also playing a pretty similar spot. But none of the smoke is aware of it. So it might be a matter of when Parabellum decides to push through into Library to stall the smoke before he can get as many kills or as much impact as he had in the last round. Frag Nade through the drone hole is not going to get the Frost out of position. Instead, Swaylin will very nearly be taken down. He's almost dead. He'll be able to stave off with a little bit more of the smoke canister, but he's still just trying to stall for time. Parabellum need to clear him now.
Yeah, a minute and 20 when you have full library control isn't the worst thing in the world, and especially as soon as Swaylin is removed, the execute can really start getting going.
Whoa.
But Slippery with the aggression towards Ego Bow, down goes Spirits. He was going absolutely huge right before the rehost, but now as Swaylin falls, it's the refrag from Storms in this position. Like we've been saying, standing stalwart indeed. Another flash gonna burn some util on that backside, whether it's some Wamai disc or an ADS. We don't quite know, but Kool-Aid, the man that we highlighted early, he's gonna take down Quartz inside the bomb site.
PB, even though they do have more top floor control, is still trying to figure out how they want to move from here downstairs and force a plant if possible. Melted is going to rotate away from Piano Window and come right back to Library, but it'll take a little bit of time before he's able to get to that position. So if anyone else dies, it'll be a bit of a problem, but Penguin's going to force entry. He's pulling a Spirits. He's by himself, though. If Kilo swings back around, maybe he gets stalled, but that does provide enough cover for Kool-Aid to come right back on the window. Melted gets taken down by Slippery, but the plant is successful, and he ducks back out. It's just Kool-Aid as Penguin meets his maker by that window, but Kool-Aid's going to come right back in. He's not going to play, or he will play more aggressive rather than just hanging back outside the window. And both Slippery and Kilo, all they have to do is find him. They have. He's in bar spot.
Oh my!
Off the hatch drop! Oh my God! He's not supposed to win that fight. Flicks from one to the other with the bearing 9 and gives Parabellum their 4th.
A 3K with a plant. How much more can you ask out of your hard support? Kool-Aid was doing it all. Amazing stuff. As soon as he got off the plant, that little bit of timing and that awkward engagement with Kilo where they were both looking at the wrong side of the bar, but that allows him to get in such a strong power position like Stock in the post plant. And with Kool-Aid in a bearing 9, you're always going to say he's going to take it, no matter the circumstances. 1v2, he slashes them all. Beautiful stuff. And now, that was the final hurdle for Parabellum. That was the one bomb site that they have not successfully attacked. And the Ying of Melted is finally upon us after being banned for 2 straight maps.
Man, Kool-Aid's going to go back. He's going to find that bearing 9 clip, and he's going to hear Pete's voice cracking over the thing. Man! That was a good moment. And then I had to have a puberty moment right on top of it.
Well, just get older, buddy.
I'm working on it, Dad. I'm only 22.
Same here. But
when do I become a real man?
Never. A very similar setup coming out for a one-shot once again, as it was so close, so incredibly close. And if Swaylin had popped off just a bit more, if he wasn't going to be the one to immediately die on the top mezzanine, things could have gone the favor of One Shot's defense once again. For Slippery, really well played on Ego Bauk. He took down Spirits, but Spirits, if you notice, he 6-picked a very interesting operator. He's bringing the Nook, the Knock, however you would like to pronounce it. And I assume that with the Ying as well?
Yeah, what tandem is this?
I think this might be a direct take. I think this might be a little bit of a rush, a little bit of a surprise factor as feigning early pressure towards Ego Bauk is on the docket for Parabellum. And now the main lobby opened up. Candelas could fly into the bomb site, and Spirits pushing the backside could find a couple of kills that are completely unnoticed.
Right over to his left. Yep, there's Kilo. That was the thing we were just talking about.
I was holding my breath there for a second. I go, yep, Kilo hopped on cams. Down goes the Aruni.
Yeah, he probably knew about the sound call too as soon as he hears cams get activated right there by Kilo. First guy to die both times we were on this site. If Parabellum go up 5-1 here, might be a little bit too much for One Shot to expect a retake or any kind of recovery in this match. Quartz has been downed, but they're still trying to look for him. He can't get revived. Slippery tries, but a nade will finally finish him off. So it's just the 3 S players now for 1S. Slippery, Storms, and Swaylin. How long can they deny this for? Top floor control inside library is something that hasn't been completely confirmed by PB. And that cross angle from Spirits, he gets killed by Kilo. He's looking for even more blood, but through the smoke, misses his target. And the shotgun will ring true, but at least the trade is there. Just a brief moment of camouflage for the smoke. It lasts long enough to kill their top frag, and Spirits gets 2 kills on that flank. But now it's just Slippery, and Melted will take him out of this map. A 5-1 attacking half. This might be all she wrote for One Shot.
Potentially, but Chalet defense is significantly harder, and Parabellum have struggled on this half. But to that same testament, One Shot has struggled on their attacks. So, like you said, it could be so incredibly dangerous. And even though that was one of the ugliest gunfights towards top mezzanine that I have ever seen, you still have to give so much credit for Spirits for being on knock and playing entry and running all over the map, just kind of creeping around and constantly finding ways to surprise the defenders. A really well-adjusted attack as all of the pressure no longer was from Ego Bauk in library. It was just sort of fainted. It was there to really disrupt and distract the One-Shot defenders who were just sitting there waiting for that same pressure that they've seen 2 times before come out. And then all of a sudden get shot in the back by Spirits.
So close. One Shot are so close. I kind of don't want them to lose this because of how good of a performance they had on Oregon, but they really are letting this one slip away. On Cafe, a 3-3 first half. On Oregon, 5-1 in their favor. This time, the script has been completely flipped on its head. And now Parabellum find themselves only 2 rounds away from going toe-to-toe with TSM in what's sure to be a barn burner of a best-of-5. One Shot don't have that much gas left in the tank. Hopefully their attacks can get shorn up a bit. Slight improvements from what they did against TSM on Chalet, but they need that same kind of tenacity to dig deep and ensure that they have a little bit more life left just using the time available to them, or else Parabellum wins this in the next 6 minutes or so.
Yeah, I know you're not the big math guy, that's your counterpart, Jesse, but there's something called the transitive property, which means that, oh yeah, so one shot, they beat TSM on Chalet, and Parabellum might beat one shot, that means that Parabellum would have beat TSM. And it's totally 100% accurate all the time.
All the time.
All the time,
most
100%.
Of the time. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, about 97% of the time it works 100% of the time. So pretty much, yes.
Pretty much every time.
For the side of one shot, though, they're going for a solar take in a similar vein to what we saw out of Parabellum. A whole lot of repels, a whole lot of deep angles, and one that I haven't seen that often is Kilo on this big rock. Down below is Quartz. He's going to make sure that there's no run-out shenanigans, as everybody seems to be really focused on Garage, not allowing Parabellum to get a big momentum play, as Kool-Aid is on the back side of the stairs, and in comes a Nitro Cell onto Slippery. Eska, he's also going to take out poor Swalen holding the flanks on Trophy Window. And there's even more bullets going his way as Parabellum are absolutely blood hungry. They want these kills. They're peeking everything. They're pre-firing away, and Kilo and Quartz losing almost all of their HP. And only Eska has taken any damage on the defensive side.
Slight moment of pause here. One Shot don't really have a way in. They do have drones. They understand there's now 2 ADSs bottom solar. They did see the Jaeger. Whether or not they saw the Kaid is imperative to getting on this solar take off in the first place. Storms finds 1 kill, at least confirms Melted is dead, but Spirits now takes down Storms, and it's just Quartz and Kilo. Both of them have taken damage from different angles. Quartz was in Garage. Kilo was trying to find kills onto Trophy Window. Neither of them found anything substantial thus far, and Quartz on his own approach inside gets taken down by Spirits. He's looking for his third if he can find Kilo, who's only got 1 kill, and I'm not so certain he's going to be that confident making an approach toward the bomb site. He might just try to give his team a little bit more time to think things through. They do have a tactical timeout they can use if they feel like it's required, but unless Kilo finds 4 kills, he's just going to keep teabagging, isn't he?
Yeah, but they see him on cam, and they see him in the kill cam now as Spirits will drop off Kilo. Whatever time they wasted and kind of sat through could be a good enough talking point to kind of negate the need for a tactical timeout. But as those beautiful words flash across your screen, it is match point, series point for Parabellum, and it could be an insanely dominant victory on this seemingly quote-unquote neutral map of Chalet.
Man, it just makes me wonder what would happen if we saw TSM play on a decider map against Parabellum in their first series of the day. If TSM hadn't just run them over with a truck to start the day yesterday, then maybe we could have seen something similar to this. Maybe we will, in fact, see Chalet if Parabellum finally claims this series and goes to face TSM. What Parabellum has done has won themselves 5 chances to win just 1 defense, which, because we know how One Shot's been struggling on attack, should already seem like a pretty easy prospect, but understanding the streak of rounds that they had, the hole that One Shot put themselves in by only managing to win 1 defense earlier on, might just mean One Shot defeat themselves in the mental game, and PB can just be there to mop everything up and claim this game in the next 3 minutes. No more second lives for One Shot, no more do-overs. It is do or die. You win this map, you go to face TSM, but you've got to force overtime to do that.
Yeah, and overtime is very, very far away. It's not necessarily just a couple of rounds away. It's almost half a match away, because Parabellum, this entire map, has been all them.
They might as well be here to Dubai for all we care.
Yeah, it is a very, very long train, plane, whatever ride. And for Parabellum, like you were saying, they have 5 straight rounds to try to get anything going on their defensive side. They haven't even touched the basement yet, which is a strat that has an insanely high win percentage for them on their bunker with all the Goyo shields and fun stuff like that. But instead, they want to go towards bar gaming. For One Shot, these are the positions where you could typically see them go for a rush to try to get any momentum play going on, but I think the stakes might be too high for that. That is a position that, hey, you don't necessarily want to throw it all on one single gunfight that could go the way. If you're the first one going and the trade game goes your way, then that's nice. However, if it's Parabellum to strike first on one of your rushes, we've seen how much damage they can do when they tried to rush the basement on Oregon.
Head holes plus a rotate here for Melted if he wants to move back and forth through Library. Kilo is holding the same spot Spirits did on the balcony for their entire attacking half, but The approach vectors for one shot seem to be rather numerous. Library, balcony, Maverick coming down from basement up through main stairs from garage. There's a few different things one shot are trying here. They're looking to ensnare Parabellum, but those roams that they're on aren't nearly as deep as we might expect. A lot of them are a little bit more congested now. Swaywin's going to come into garage, just hide in snowmobile, and just keep on droning. One shot are playing this extremely conservatively.
Yeah, they have half the round still to go, and they really haven't done anything. Nothing at all besides take basement control. But guess what? The bomb site's not there, but Slippery's right outside that bomb site I just mentioned. He's cooking a nade, and it seems like Eska has an idea of where he is. There's a whole lot of flooding coming through. The lion scans come out in the pre-fires. They know he's in that corner, and the pistol of Slippery will shut him down. More players on the flank as he's on the footholds. Spirits as well is just going to come straight through and finish off Slippery. In the meantime, Storms is going to go for 2. It's just up to Spirits and Melted. Melted up above, Spirits to the side in a retake position.
Deny, deny, deny. Try and see if you can keep yourself as long as possible. So far, Spirits. He'll knock down Swaylin, but we enter our last 45 seconds. Melton's got a nice position in piano. He can stall from up above for a little bit, considering we are above games room right now, where the bomb site is games. So he can try to work on the hatch play if someone attempts a plant. If someone does, he's up there. He will stall it, and he'll duck back out of cover. So now it's a 2v2. Storms and Quartz need to find a way to reclaim the diffuser and move together in order to find these last couple of kills. Time is dwindling. The two of them aren't really moving in tandem. Spirits knows all he really has to do is stay alive because of where the diffuser is, but Storms finds him. He's going to swing right back, but Melted, he's got the high ground. Can he deny? He is going to kill Quartz. Storms grabs diffuser. He's going to run back into bar right on the rotate. Melted now has to come back down. 000 has hit the clock. Can Storms get the diffuser off, or will Melted find him? The answer is Melted. Parabellum put one shot in the dirt. Say goodbye to your old rival. That's how this bad boy concludes, and PB and TSM is up next.
And just like Penguin says, nothing changes but the weather. Always a close game, but most of the time it goes the way of Parabellum. Really well done for this entire tournament for One Shot, but unfortunately their run has been ended by seemingly their big